My fiancé said, "I'm not sure about us." I replied, "I'm sure about me." Then I returned the ring, canceled everything, moved countries, and I smiled when she realized not sure meant dying alone. Hey Reddit, I'm not sure about us anymore. Those 7 words came out of Rebecca's mouth on a Tuesday evening, 3 months before our wedding. We were sitting on the couch in our apartment, the one we'd moved into together a year ago, the one where we'd planned our entire future. I'm 26. She's 25. We'd been together for 4 years, engaged for 8 months. Everything was booked: venue, caterer, photographer, the works. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I just looked at her and said, "Okay." She blinked. "Okay. Yeah. If you're not sure, then I'm sure enough for both of us." I stood up, walked to the bedroom, and came back with the ring box. I'd kept it because she said she wanted to remember the proposal. I opened it, looked at the empty slot where her ring should have been, then closed it and set it on the coffee table. I'm sure I deserve someone who's sure about me. Her face went pale. "Wait, what are you doing?" "Respecting your feelings," I said. "You're not sure. That's fine. But I'm not going to sit around hoping you'll figure it out. I'm done." "You're breaking up with me?" "No, Rebecca. You just broke up with me. You just don't realize it yet." I grabbed my jacket and walked out. Didn't come back that night. Stayed at my buddy Mike's place, listening to him tell me I was being rash, that I should give her time, that every couple has doubts. But here's the thing, I didn't have doubts. Not one. The next morning, I called the wedding venue. "Hi. Yes, I need to cancel the reservation for September 14th. The coordinator sounded shocked. "Sir, that's less than 3 months away. You'll lose your deposit." "I understand. Are you sure? Maybe you just need to postpone." "I'm very sure. Cancel it." I called the caterer next, then the photographer, then the DJ. Each conversation cost me money. Each conversation felt like ripping off a Band-Aid. But each conversation also felt like freedom. By noon, I dismantled our entire wedding. Rebecca called me 17 times. I didn't answer. She texted, "Can we please talk about this?" I replied, "You said you weren't sure." "I heard you. There's nothing to talk about." "I didn't mean it like that." "Then how did you mean it?" 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Disappeared. No response. I went back to the apartment that evening to pack my things. She was there, eyes red, tissues everywhere. "Please don't do this," she said. "I was just scared." Wedding jitters. Everyone gets them. Everyone doesn't tell their partner they're not sure about the entire relationship, I said, folding my clothes into a suitcase. "That's not jitters, Rebecca. That's doubt. But I love you." I stopped packing and looked at her. Really looked at her. "Do you?" Because love isn't supposed to come with uncertainty 3 months before you promise forever. You're not even going to give me a chance to explain? Explain what? That you woke up one day and realized you might not want to marry me? That you've been having these thoughts for how long? Weeks? Months? And you waited until everything was paid for, until we'd told everyone, until I was completely committed to tell me you're not sure? She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? Silence. I zipped up my suitcase. That's what I thought. Mike let me crash at his place for 2 weeks while I figured things out. During that time, Rebecca kept trying to reach me. Calls, texts, emails, even showing up at my office. My coworker Dana saw her in the lobby one day and came to warn me. "Dude, your ex is downstairs. Security's about to escort her out." "Let them," I said, not looking up from my computer. "Damn, you're ice cold." "No, I'm just done being an option." But here's what nobody knew. I wasn't ice cold. I was destroyed. Every night at Mike's, I'd lie awake wondering if I'd made a mistake. Wondering if I should have fought harder, talked more, given her the chance to take it back. Then I'd remember her face when she said she wasn't sure. The way she said it so casually, like she was commenting on the weather. And I'd remember that hesitation isn't something you can fix. It's something that grows. My dad always told me, Son, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Rebecca showed me. I believed her. 2 weeks after moving out, I did something nobody expected. I applied for a job transfer. My company had an office in Melbourne, Australia. I'd always wanted to live abroad, experience something different, but Rebecca never wanted to leave home. She was close with her family, had her friend group, loved her job here. So I'd shelved that dream, put it away for us. But there was no more us. I interviewed over Zoom on a Monday, got the offer on Wednesday, accepted on Thursday. I was leaving in 6 weeks. Mike nearly choked on his beer when I told him. Australia? Are you insane? Maybe, I said, but I'm also free. What about Rebecca? What about her? She's been trying to talk to you for 3 weeks straight, and I don't want to talk to her. You're really going to throw away 4 years without even hearing her out? I set my beer down. Mike, let me ask you something. If someone told you they weren't sure about marrying you, would you want to marry them? He thought about it, shook his head. No. Exactly. I didn't tell Rebecca about Australia. I figured she'd find out eventually, but I didn't know her my itinerary. I spent the next few weeks preparing. Got my visa, found an apartment online, shipped some belongings, sold the rest. My life condensed into 2 suitcases and a carry-on. It was terrifying. It was exhilarating. 3 days before my flight, my mom called. Honey, Rebecca came by the house. My stomach dropped. What? She's worried about you. She says you won't talk to her, that you're making rash decisions, that you're throwing your life away. I'm not throwing my life away, Mom. I'm starting a new one. She told me about Australia. Of course she did. Probably found out through mutual friends. And I think you're running away. Maybe I am, I admitted. But sometimes running away is the same thing as running towards something better. My mom sighed. Just be careful, okay? Don't do something you'll regret. The only thing I regret is not doing this sooner. The night before my flight, I went to our old apartment one last time. I'd arranged with the landlord to formally remove myself from the lease. Rebecca had agreed to take it over fully. She was there when I arrived. So this is really it, she said. You're actually leaving? Yeah. Because of me. No, Rebecca. For me. She started crying. I made a mistake. I was scared and stupid, and I didn't mean it. Please don't go. I'd prepared myself for this moment. Rehearsed what I'd say. But standing there, watching her fall apart, I felt nothing. Not anger, not sadness, not even sympathy. Just nothing. You know what the sad part is? I said quietly. I would have done anything for you. Anything. But the one thing you needed to do was be sure about me. And you couldn't even do that. I'm sure now. Now? Now that I've canceled the wedding? Now that I've moved on? Now that I'm leaving the country? I shook my head. That's not being sure, Rebecca. That's being afraid of being alone. That's not fair. You're right. It's not fair. It wasn't fair when you told me you weren't sure. It wasn't fair when you waited until I'd committed everything to tell me you had doubts. It wasn't fair when you made me question whether I was enough. I picked up my keys from the counter. But life isn't fair, and I'm done trying to make it fair for you. I walked toward the door. Wait, she said. Please, just tell me what I can do. I turned back one last time. Find someone you're sure about, because I'm going to find someone who's sure about me. And I left. Melbourne was everything I needed. The job was challenging in a good way. My apartment was small but mine. The city was vibrant, full of life, full of possibilities. I made new friends, people who didn't know my history, didn't know Rebecca, didn't know the guy who almost got married at 26. I started rock climbing, took up photography, learned to surf. Badly, but still. I became someone new. Or maybe I became who I always was, underneath all the compromises. 2 months in, I met someone at a coffee shop. Her name was Olivia. She was a graphic designer from New Zealand, living in Melbourne for work. We started talking about cameras. She'd noticed mine, and ended up chatting for 2 hours. When I left, she said, I had fun. We should do this again. And I said, I'd like that. No games. No uncertainty. Just honest interest. We went on a date the next week. Then another. Then another. I didn't tell her about Rebecca for a month. When I finally did, sitting on the beach watching the sunset, she listened carefully. "So you just walked away?" she said. "Yeah. That must have been hard." "It was the hardest thing I've ever done," I admitted. "But also the best thing." She looked at me. "I'm glad you did." "Yeah. Yeah. Because if you hadn't, you wouldn't be here. And I really like that you're here." I kissed her. It felt right. Easy. Sure. Rebecca found me on social media 4 months after I left. The message was long. Paragraphs about how she'd been in therapy, how she'd realized her issues with commitment stemmed from her parents' divorce, how she'd been working on herself, how she understood now what she'd lost. She ended with, "I don't expect you to come back. I just wanted you to know that losing you was the biggest mistake of my life. You deserved better than what I gave you. I hope you're happy." I read it twice. Felt a twinge of something. Not regret, maybe nostalgia, for who we were before everything fell apart. But then I looked at the photo on my desk. Me and Olivia at the Great Ocean Road, both laughing at something stupid, both completely present in the moment. I typed back, "Thank you for saying that. I genuinely hope you find what you're looking for. Take care." And that was it. Closure, finally. 6 months turned into a year. A year turned into 2. Olivia and I moved in together after 18 months. No doubts, no hesitation. Just two people who were sure about each other, building something real. We got engaged on the anniversary of the day we met. I proposed at that same coffee shop, at the same table where we'd first talked for 2 hours about cameras and life and everything in between. She said yes immediately. No pause, no uncertainty, no, I need to think about it. Just yes. When we started planning the wedding, she asked me once, "Are you sure about this?" About me? I took her hands. I've never been more sure about anything in my life. And I meant it. My buddy Mike visited Melbourne for my bachelor party. On the last night, just the two of us having a beer on my balcony, he said, "You know, I thought you were crazy when you left. I know you did. But you were right. You knew what you deserved, and you didn't settle." He raised his glass. "I'm proud of you, man." We clinked bottles. "You ever wonder what would have happened if you'd stayed?" he asked. "Sometimes," I admitted. But then I remember that I would have spent my entire life with someone who wasn't sure about me. And that's not a life. That's a prison. No regrets. I looked out at the Melbourne skyline, thought about Olivia inside planning seating charts, thought about the life I'd built from nothing, thought about the person I'd become. Not one. The wedding was perfect. Small, intimate, just close friends and family. My parents flew in from the States. Olivia's family came from New Zealand. During the reception, my mom pulled me aside. "Remember when I told you not to do something you'd regret?" she said. "Yeah, I was wrong. This," she gestured to the party, to Olivia laughing with her cousins, to the life I'd built. "This is what you were supposed to do all along." I hugged her. "Thanks, Mom. Although," she added, "Rebecca called me last month." I pulled back. "What?" "She wanted to know if I had your address. Said she wanted to send you a wedding card." My mom smiled. I told her I didn't think that was appropriate. "What did she say?" "She asked if you were happy." I told her you were. She started crying and hung up. I should have felt something. Guilt, maybe. Pity. But all I felt was grateful. Grateful that I'd chosen myself, that I'd walked away, that I'd known my worth. "That's sad," I said. "It is," my mom agreed. "But it's not your sad anymore." She was right. 3 years after I left, Rebecca got married. I saw it on social media. Mike told me she'd posted photos. I didn't look. Didn't need to. Olivia asked me if I was curious. "Not really," I said honestly. That part of my life is so far behind me. It feels like it happened to someone else. No residual feelings at all. Just gratitude that she showed me who she was before I married her. She did me a favor. Olivia kissed my cheek. Her loss was my gain. "No," I said, pulling her close. "My loss taught me what gain really looks like. Here's what I learned. Uncertainty isn't romantic. It's not something to work through, not something to fix. When someone tells you they're not sure about you, believe them. Don't wait for them to become sure. Don't sacrifice yourself hoping they'll change their mind. Because here's the truth. The right person won't make you wonder. The right person will be sure. Maybe not about everything in life. Maybe not about the big scary things like careers and mortgages and whether to have kids. But about you, about wanting you, about choosing you. They'll be sure. And if they're not, walk away. Cancel the wedding. Move to Australia. Do whatever you need to do. Because somewhere out there is someone who won't need convincing. Someone who won't have doubts. Someone who will look at you and think, yes, this one, I'm sure. Rebecca wanted someone who would wait around while she figured herself out. She wanted someone who would accept uncertainty as part of the deal. I wanted someone who was sure. I found her in a coffee shop in Melbourne, arguing with me about whether film or digital photography was better. I found her in the certainty of every moment we've spent together since. Rebecca probably tells her story differently. Probably says I overreacted, that I gave up too easily, that I ran away instead of fighting for us. And maybe she's right. Maybe I did run away. But I ran toward something better. Toward someone better. Toward a better version of myself. I ran toward certainty. Last month, Olivia and I found out we're having a baby. A girl. We're terrified and excited and completely unprepared. But we're sure. About each other. About this. About everything that matters. And when our daughter asks me someday about how I met her mother, I'll tell her about the coffee shop, about the conversation about cameras, about how sometimes the best things in life happen when you're brave enough to walk away from the wrong things. I'll tell her that her mother never made me doubt whether I was enough. I'll tell her that being sure about someone isn't about never being scared. It's about being scared and choosing them anyway. Every single day. Without hesitation. I'll tell her that the right person won't make you feel like an option. And I'll tell her about Rebecca, about how sometimes people teach you what you deserve by showing you what you don't. Because I'm grateful now. Genuinely grateful. Rebecca saying she wasn't sure was the best thing that ever happened to me. It freed me. It pushed me toward the life I was supposed to have. She's married now, probably happy, probably has her own story to tell. And that's fine. I hope she found someone she's sure about. I hope she never made him doubt the way she made me doubt. But mostly, I hope she learned the same lesson I did. That not sure isn't something you say to someone you love. It's something you work through privately, before you make promises, before you accept rings, before you plan futures. Because once you say it, you can't unsay it. And some of us are listening, really listening. And some of us are sure enough about ourselves to walk away. I did, and I've never looked back. So if you're reading this, sitting with someone who's not sure about you, do yourself a favor. Be sure about yourself instead. Be sure that you deserve certainty. Be sure that you deserve someone who chooses you completely. And then choose yourself. Cancel the wedding. Move countries. Start over. Whatever it takes. Because somewhere out there is someone who will be sure about you. Who won't need time to think about it. Who won't need to figure things out, who won't make you question whether you're enough. And that person is worth waiting for. That person is worth being alone until you find them. I found mine in Melbourne. You'll find yours somewhere too. Just make sure you're available when they show up.